So today we're looking at installing our MaxxAir fan. I picked up one of these. This is a ring that actually fits the profile of the Promaster. It's come from a guy in Oregon. Prints them off a 3D printer. They're pretty sturdy, but really that doesn't matter. What happens is this drops on top of the profile of the ridges of the top of the Promaster van, and then your fan sits in here and sits on top of the top there. And it saves you from using a whole bunch of glue and butyl and all that sort of stuff. So $40, maybe $50 by the time it got here. It's a good product. Like I say, there's a few other ways you can do it, but I decided I'd go with the nice little easy to do method. So this is what I was saying about that ring. It fits nicely into the ribs of the roof. And so your fan then fits right along this flat bit here, and just with a little bit of caulking around there, got a really nice seal. So I think I've got my placement here, and basically what they say is you can mark out inside the ring here, because the trim for the fan fits inside there like so. And so once you cut out the size of that ring, you can fit your max fan ring into there, and then your fan mounts on top of that. So this is the inside ring that is basically the trim ring for the inside. So it actually is going to go up this way, and that big large chunk, depending on how thick your roof material is, that'll be trimmed off so it then bolts basically up inside your van roof. So that's kind of all you'll see there, that ring there. This part here, this is the part that goes through the roof, and your fan screws onto the metal threads in those clips, and that's the portion that sticks down into the inside of the van, and then your trim ring comes up onto it. That's the fan hood itself, and that's the fan from the bottom. These are the controls here, and this hood, once you power it up, will come up and start doing its ventilating. And there's your lock and unlock for your hood. So you can go with the one with the remote, kind of does everything automatically. I just decided not to, just for cold temperature reasons. If that comes up or decides to come down and there's something in there, it might crack it. So when you're doing your fan placement installation, do make sure you get inside and have a look at where these are. You don't want to start drilling down and find you've run into one of the ceiling ribs. My fan is off to one side and forward. My reasoning is I want to pull the air from the back over the bed area across and up out of the fan, as well as being able to get the exhaust from the kitchen area kind of up at the front here. The other reason is it gives me more chance or more surface area to put things like my surfboard rack and my ski box and so on, and anything else I want to carry up there. It kind of gets it out into one corner up front near my solar panel. So for this, as you see, I marked it off on the inside a couple of times. Wanted to make sure it was far enough back from where my solar panel is. Tried a couple runs. This is now the final spot through this one here. Remember, these are reverse when you look at them from the bottom. I really like that little ring I picked up because I know it's going to sit on the raised part on the roof, and I know it's going to finish on a raised part here. Plus I measured it, and this is basically the exact spot it's going to sit, which, interesting, was right where the wires started out to be. So there's my ring sitting on top of the roof, and you can see most of my measurements were taken from this area here because it's known and easy to see from inside. So I marked back the distance I needed to be to get to the corner here and the corner here. And so what I'm going to do now is mark the inside of my ring. We got a couple other lines on there, like the outside of the ring and kind of where the front of the solar panel was. And so when I drew the inside of my ring there, I put X marks of what I want to take out. We'll get out a drill a couple of corners, and then we'll get out a jigsaw, put some tape around there, and we'll cut that hole out. So you might have seen me do that last fit on the fan up top and drill that hole in the corner so I could then come in and position the ring and have a really good idea exactly where it's going to be. And actually, I ended up a little bit further back than I thought, but that's because I was looking at the outside measurement as opposed to the inside of the ring. So that's fine. So it's basically where I was going. So just thought I'd show you what I did here was I just set up a little tarp inside, just closing the corner because the fan's going to go right in there. And we're going to be drilling holes through there, and we got metal filings coming down, so I thought I'd just put this in here and just help collect some of those while I'm doing the jigsawing. So what I've done right now is I've cut almost two sides here, and I'm just cutting the third side coming up here. I had a little pilot hole that I was checking my spot for, and I've just stuck a screw in there so I can hold this from flapping around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to tidy up the two back corners and bring the two sides right to this front one. And with the holes drilled with my step bit in the corner, I'm just able to finish off this last cut here and hold my metal on this side to stop it from flapping, and then also to stop it from bending and kinking in this corner. So there's the hole we got. And you look inside, that was that tarp that I put in there. It did its job, collected all the little filings and so on. And here's our ring. It goes on there. The one you don't get with MaxxFan. And then this piece just fits right in there. And you see it just drops in just below the roof here. That did really nicely. So now what I'm going to do now is just get some rubbing alcohol, and I'm going to clean up around here and get ready to put some caulking on and seal it up. So you can see my ring here is about 1.5 inches wide. So what I'm going to do is just take some Scotch-Brite, just kind of haze, I don't know, 1/2 inch or so in. And that way when I put my sealer in around it, I'll have a little bit more contact. This is quite a porous plastic material. It's going to fit flush, so I'm not going to really need a lot. And then same with when I put the ring on here, it'll seal pretty well, because the back of the ring from MaxxAir also has grooves. We'll probably leave a little more sealant on it so we can fill some of those grooves. But on the part that goes onto the van, it's a very tight fit, so it's not going to need a lot. Alright, so we put silicone around over the area that I scuffed up with the Brillo pad, and then did a couple of passes so it's not thick and doesn't squish out, but it still covered everything. And then I did the same, did 2 or 3 passes around the ring. And again, I just use a non-paintable 100% silicone. This happens to be Gorilla. It actually was just what was on sale. It doesn't really matter. MaxxFan in their ad, or in their instructions, does say silicone is absolutely perfect to use. Just don't use anything with an acetone in it, or the paintable type of, what is it, DAP, I guess. Don't use DAP, just a regular silicone. The same sort of thing I'm using for everything inside, just to create a nice cushion, and also waterproof. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to drill the holes, 16 holes around here. Because I'm using the ring, I'm going to drill through this first part with a slightly larger bit that's just the size of the threads, and the same size, actually it's a little smaller than the holes in the MaxxFan ring. And I'm just going to basically go down through the plastic, and I'll feel it hit the metal. I'm going to drill those holes, and then I'm going to go back around and drill it with a smaller bit that is the size of the shaft, but not the threads of the screw that MaxxFan gave us to put it on. Then I'm going to drop these in there and drill them into all the places, and I won't fasten one down. I'll just sort of tighten them a little bit as we go around, and then finish tightening them all around, and that'll push both rings down and pull the metal up and give us a very solid base for our fan to sit on. There it is, installed in the van. Looks pretty good. We'll wire it up here in the next few days, and we'll try it out.